Today is September 28th, 2016. It's 10 a.m. I call the meeting of the Monongalia County Commission to order. Let the record reflect that all three commissioners are present. Would everyone please stand for a moment of silent meditation and pledge to the flag. Thank you. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Renetta.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have 29 exoneration listings for $13,352.52. No minutes to approve this morning. Vouchers for General County, $39,942.29. 911, $33.48. Camp Muffley, $7,247.39. Mason-Dixon Park, $953.79. Assessor's valuation, $424.84. No purchasing card vouchers for a total of $48,601.79. We have budget revisions. One for the prosecuting attorney. She had received a check from the Mon Metro Drug Task Force in the amount of $926.60, and she would like that put into her personal services line items. Also one for the Sheriff's Department law enforcement. They received a check from Animal Friends of North Central West Virginia for canine ballistic vests for $1,177, and the sheriff would request that that be put into capital outlay. Position vacancies for boards and authorities: Mon County Planning Commission and the Farmland Protection Board. Fiduciary orders of September the 28th, 2016. Statement of services for fiduciary commissioners George Armistead and Cynthia Van Stafford.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you. Okay. We have any introduction of new employees? MJ? Good morning.
Morning.
I'm MJ Zink. I'm the Director of Mon County Youth Services. We are a shelter in Morgantown for at-risk and homeless adolescents. A lot of people don't even know that we're here.
And we like it that way.
Yeah, that's right. But we have a new position for a midnight shift, and this is Nicholas Starr. He has been at the center for 2 years. He's been dedicated. He's never missed a day. So I think it's fair to say I think that he would be a great full-time employee.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Welcome.
Motion passed. Welcome
Thank
aboard.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the position.
Yeah, we appreciate your diligence. Okay. That's all we have?
Yeah, you don't have to stay. That's the most important thing.
Let's see.
Okay. All right. Now's the time for comments from the public. Anyone that wishes to address the commission, will please rise, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Any comments from the public? Hearing none, I'll close that session.
Could I just, for the record also,
Oh, yes,
I would
sir.
like to put part of the record that no one spoke at the public portion today. I just want that as part of it.
You want it in a minute, huh?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I invited several people to speak, and they chose not to come.
Oh, okay. All right, I understand now. Okay, Colleen Coon.
Hi,
Good morning, Colleen.
how are you?
Okay.
morning.
So I have no requests for reimbursements, but I have several grant contracts that I need you to sign in resolutions.
Okay, you just start reading resolutions.
The first one is the Monongalia County Commission met on Wednesday, September 28th, 2016, with a quorum present and passed the following resolution. Be it resolved that the Monongalia County Commission hereby authorizes the Honorable Eldon A. Callan, President of the Monongalia County Commission, to act on behalf of its to act on its behalf to enter into a contractual agreement with the Division of Justice and Community Services to receive and administer grant funds pursuant to provisions of the Juvenile Justice Delinquency and Prevention Grant Program. This.
Do we have a motion on that?
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Is there something else to sign?
All of that.
Just this?
There's several in there.
Okay.
And then the second resolution is, it actually says the exact same thing. It's for a different grant. One is for
Go ahead and read it for the public since we're on camera. They know what it is.
The Monongalia County Commission met on Wednesday, September 28, 2016, with a quorum present and passed the following resolution. Be it resolved that the Monongalia County Commission hereby authorizes the Honorable Eldon A. Callen, President of the Monongalia County Commission, to act on its behalf to enter into a contractual agreement with the Division of Justice and Community Services to receive and administer grant funds pursuant to provisions of the Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Grant Program.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Thank you.
And the last resolution says, the Monongalia County Commission met on Wednesday, September 28, 2016, with a quorum present and passed the following resolution. Be it resolved that the Monongalia County Commission hereby authorizes the Honorable Eldon A. Callen, President of the Monongalia County Commission, to act on its behalf to enter into a contractual agreement with the West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles to apply, receive, and administer grant funds pursuant to the provisions of West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
And just for clarification, these grants go to Morgantown Area Youth Services
Yes.
Project, which, again, I'm thrilled to say that, we're very supportive of. We've been, and it shows the positive approach that our community is trying to deal with some of these problems. And I just want to publicly state that this is going to the MAYSP program.
Yes, one is for Disproportionate Minority Contact Initiative, and the other one is the Juvenile Justice.
Yes,
Delinquency.
really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cole.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, it's 10:10. Carissa Collins, Executive Director, American Red Cross of Northeast West Virginia. Is she present?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, maybe she'll show up. We're gonna move, since it's not really a hearing, the times are just a guide, but we're a little ahead, Bob. Bob Perner, Pace Enterprises, Inc., Proclamation for Disability Employment Awareness Month. You're on, sir.
All
Nice
right.
to see you.
Well, thank you. It's always good to be here. The proclamation I submit for your approval is, whereas Pace Enterprises, Inc. provides people with disabilities with evaluation, training, and jobs necessary to receive good wages and benefits and gain greater independence and quality of life, and whereas through the Source America program, community-based nonprofit organizations such as Pace Enterprises provide employment opportunities to people with disabilities while providing a wide array of quality goods and services at a fair price. And whereas in Monongalia County, West Virginia, Pace Enterprises for 44 years has provided employment opportunities for people with disabilities, enabling them to lead more productive and independent lives. And whereas Monongalia County, West Virginia recognizes the important contributions of Pace Enterprises to its citizens. Now, therefore, the Monongalia County Commission does hereby proclaim October 2016 as Disability Employment Awareness Month, and hereby commends all persons who are committed to and work toward enhancing employment opportunities for people with disabilities.
Very good.
Move to approve the proclamation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passed. PACE is an exceptional organization. I wish I could spend more time over there. I wanted to point out that when Secretary Munez, the Energy Secretary, visited Longview, the lunches were provided by the Beehive Cafe, and I had the privilege of informing the Secretary of that because no one else knew it. And that PACE Pace prepared those lunch, and he did say that was probably one of the best lunches that he had on these kind of visits.
That's
So
outstanding.
please
That's
pass
outstanding.
that on to your workers. Beehive Cafe is a restaurant. They provide excellent catered lunches for all kind of events. They're all done with people with disabilities.
Right.
And we've had the privilege of having Pace go with us on the Monongalia County Day to Charleston. I think,
We're proud to be part of that team.
yeah, yes, you are a part of the team, and I think your people really look forward to going down there and
The
seeing the
trip to
capital.
Charleston is, there aren't very many food service operations that are based in Morgantown that can prepare a lunch in Morgantown and feed 300 people in Charleston at 11 o'clock
And meet the health requirements.
and meet the health requirements. That's right. My guys knock it out. Now, the other thing I wanted to say is, if you're ever having a bad day, come out to Pace at about 7:25 on a weekday morning and watch when our people get off the mountain line buses and come into work and they're getting a shot of coffee, putting stuff in their locker, and I guarantee you, we can turn that bad day around. When you see the dignity and the pride of our workers coming in, and so I just want to extend that invitation to everybody. Come out and visit us sometime. Take a look at what we're doing.
Also,
That-
oh, sorry. Also,
Go ahead.
Also, just Bob, I know it's too proud to mention, but their mission has also accepted the Pantry Plus More program under their guidance. We were using their 501c3, and they've extended it to the 4 schools and more. And Pace, a lot of people do not know that, and I think they need to deserve a lot of credit because we could not have done it without their support.
Right. Well, we're very proud to be part of that and to serve as. I mean, I kind of think of it as the mentor organization that you've got a nonprofit that's starting it. So why should you pay for a computer to keep track of things? We've already got a computer. We can share those resources. And
Exactly.
I think it speaks real well for Monongalia County in general that we're able to collaborate on these kinds of things and develop partnerships. You look at a problem in the community and we all tackle it together.
Yes.
And I'm very
Right.
proud to be part of that.
Was the Mountain Line bus added
Yes.
as a result of the levy?
Yes. And
So the taxpayers deserve a thank you
Yes.
for all those people
They
that
roughly-
had
Yes.
such difficulty to get out there.
Everybody that voted for that levy, we appreciate that, and we work together, again, collaboration. The first thing that happened was Mountain Line called and said, we're coming to Pace, pull in all the other stakeholders at Milan Park. And so
Right.
it wasn't just Pace, it was Pro Performance, it was Stepping Stones, it was
Operations
every,
Vehicle,
Operation
Walk-Ons.
we all sat down and the staff from Mountain Line said, okay, when do you want, and so they let us negotiate among ourselves. And when we reached an agreement, Mountain Line said, that's the schedule. So that's a good way to,
Yeah, it's exceptional. You do exceptional work, and we do all work together. We really
right.
appreciate that work.
well, we appreciate that too. Thank you.
Okay. Has Carissa Collins come in? Okay, just wanted to check. Okay, discussion with applicants to the Mason-Dixon Historical Park and Camp Muffley Advisory Boards. Let's take Mason-Dixon Historical Park Group. Who's here that's gonna be willing to be on my board? 1, 2, 3. Please identify yourself for the record and where you live.
My name's Pete Zapatka. I'm the founder of ExploreTheLawn.com website, and I live along Cheat Lake.
Yeah?
My name's Ethan Moore, and I live in Daybrook, West Virginia.
Thank you.
Betty Wiley. I live in Westover.
Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Bloom, you had wanted to ask questions of these
Yeah.
board applicants?
Before I ask the question for either of the boards, because this will clarify, I wanted it on record for not only now, but for future county commissioners, so we understand the structure. My question to the commissioners is this an advisory board or a management board? And I think that needs to be clear before we move forward.
It was in the motion that was made that I had
Okay.
asked for, it said advisory board.
Okay.
I said that I wanted to reestablish an advisory board because I need community involvement to help develop the programs I want to develop out there.
Okay, so I wanted that as part of the record. The second question is, who are the park superintendents specifically answerable to?
Well, it's advisory board, who finally always going to be answered to the county commission.
Okay,
I think that was explained to our new our new superintendent out there, JR, see him. I'd like to see you here. Go ahead.
Okay, so that's why I just wanted to verify, because there was some question or concern that it was going to be a park advisory / management board, and I wanted to clarify that as of right now.
Yeah, I never
As of
heard-
right now.
I guess I didn't address it because I never heard it. So, but that's fine.
That's fine. Okay.
that's-
Basically, my question is, it's very simple. I'm thrilled that you're willing to be out there. In fact, we switched parks because we were working together. My only question is, do you have a problem being with an advisory board? And that's my only question.
Absolutely not.
No, but I would like to know what the guidelines are. I mean,
All you gotta do is ask me, I'll tell you. You advise me, you work with me, we work together. Just as we work with Bob Perner and Pace and so many other organizations, we're gonna work together, hand in hand. I don't see, basically the difference between an advisory board, if you have an idea, you make recommendations. You don't give directions. That's all. That's the only difference. You make recommendations, and it's either within the purview of the delegation we've already given the superintendent to make and carry out. So you make recommendations to him, and if it's in that administrative purview that we've delegated to him, then he can make that decision. If it's anything above that, and that's the relationship between the superintendent and the commission, then he would say, I will take your recommendation to the commission. That's the basic guideline. Is that what you were talking about, Betty?
That's not necessary because the person that came to here.
I don't have to be on the board to give you advice.
If you understand advisory boards,
I understand what you said.
yeah, but let me finish. The purpose of an advisory board is to look at, you have regular meetings, to look at and examine the direction and future goal of the park and who you're gonna serve. Yes, any single individual can come to our advisory board meetings and says, hey, I think you ought to do this. It carries a greater impact if it's a group that's not only on the advisory board, but we know that you've analyzed it, you've reviewed the different consequences and direction, and it fits into your overall strategic plan. That's the very makeup of the Morgantown Metropolitan Planning Organization. That's all we can do. We cannot direct the Department of Highways to do anything. But the one that deals with roads here, the Morgantown Metropolitan Planning Organization, is made up of all the municipalities, WVU, the school board, the transit, all three commissioners. That's all we do. We meet, we analyze, we do strategic analysis, we do studies, in-state, the one that's current is the Interstate 79 Access Study. We put it out to the public. DOH doesn't have to follow us. It's essential information, and this is the type of essential information that I believe that JR and I both welcome. We want that essential information.
Right. I don't mean to be cantankerous about it, and I'm not being cantankerous.
That's all right.
But the difference would be, all those people you're talking about, you advise the Department of Highways about things. They have lots of employees. How many employees are you gonna have, JR?
One.
So the difference is that if a volunteer board can be more responsible, they can have more impact if it's more towards the management side, because they pull in more volunteers and they work. They get more people. They work. Advisors just advise. But that's something on down the road that we can always talk about someday, but that's the
Again,
difference.
again,
Go ahead, Tom.
you are right. I mean, I appreciate your concern. That's why I wanted to clarify it so everyone knew exactly what the board is as of right now.
Right.
And that's fine, because I have concerns in the direction you're going. We moved away from that direction philosophically because of some problems that were developed and inconsistencies. And that's why, if we're gonna put at least advisory boards, I wanted to clarify that it was just advisory boards. And I'll be comfortable with that.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to clarify, so it's on the record. Say the three of us, 10 years from now, pass on, 3 commissioners come in and say, well, wait, was it advisory or not? We want to clarify so everyone knows, and that's all I'm asking. Okay, thank you.
My vision for that park, if I'm here, we'll have a lot more employees there. I have got a vision, and I think I think I wrote an email to you. I was in journalism in 1972, and for the feature articles, I lived out of Core. I was taking care of a man's farm and his cows and horses, and I happened to see that sign. This was when it was still a private farm, and I thought, man, that would make a great feature article. So I rode the Tennessee Walker up to the farmer's house and knocked on the door and asked if I could go up and find the monument. He said, sure, help yourself. And I rode up there, and it was all covered in leaves, and it took me a long time to find it. Fortunately, I was in ROTC and had my compass and everything trying to find it, but I was able to find it. It was all covered in leaves, really couldn't be seen. But I found the line, and I found it, and then I wrote 4 or 5 feature articles for my feature article class. I hope to find them, and I took a bunch of pictures, and he let me ride the line and everything. That is why I asked Tom to switch parks with me, because with the 250th anniversary coming next year, I just have a tremendous vision of what we can do, and I know Betty, you and Ethan and Fred, you all have ideas too of what could be done, I think, and so as a result of that. As a result of that anniversary, I'm hoping to make long-term changes and improvements to the park. And I need to take one step at a time. There would have been no interchange without a ballpark. But I wasn't building a ballpark without an interchange. But I took one step at a time. That's what this commission, that's what I'm so proud of working with these commissioners, because they're willing to look down the road to the bigger vision, but they're also look under their feet to make sure they don't trip as they take one step at a time. That's what we're trying to do, Betty. Does that answer more?
Sure.
Sure. You weren't waiting for a dissertation, huh? Go ahead, Betty.
Nothing.
Okay.
I have no comment.
Okay. Ethan, do you want to say anything? Okay.
Mr. Callum?
Yes, sir.
May I present the board with some documentation that we
Absolutely. Please do.
prepared? And I thank you for having us here and getting ready for the 250th anniversary of the Mason-Dixon survey. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And this will give you an idea of some of the things that the board of Mason-Dixon 250 in 2017 has prepared and proposed. And rather than go through it all now, I thought documentation would be good for you, and we can talk at your leisure. And thank you very much for having us.
And when you're looking at this, we had set up contacts, the Greene County Commissioners are very interested,
Yes.
and they were saying, just give us something of what you wanted to do, and they didn't want to pay any money, but they knew we were going to do it, but they're interested and they'll help promote it.
Blair Zimmerman has invited me to come speak to them.
Yes.
And I'm planning, I wanted to
We
prepare
set that
this,
in motion again.
prepare this for you folks first, and then move on from there.
Okay.
But thank you for having us.
Well, we appreciate that very much, yeah, and that's one of the first things J.R. and I were
Yeah.
going to do once he started was to visit Greene County Commissioners.
Right.
And you're hopefully you're not like the chief deputy to the assessor. When he first came on, I called him Cliff for about an hour, and it finally became a joke. And so and his name was Chuck. So I apologize for calling you Fred. I don't know where that came from. It's Pete. I'll try. I don't know where it comes from. That's just names come out of someplace. I don't know, but that we still joke about that. Chuck,
Gentlemen, my
Chuck Benton.
invitation stands to take you with me on a private hike like I do this October 16th, so you can see where we go, what we do, and hear names like Cephas H. Sinclair. Who the heck is he? I'll tell you.
Okay. October 16th, when you
Sunday,
okay?
October 16th, 10:30 a.m. is our annual Mason-Dixon hike.
Sunday.
What time did you say?
10:30 a.m. We have a gentleman through the West Virginia Humanities Council, who Doug Wood from Nitro, West Virginia, who performs as Ostinaco, who was an Indian chief of that era. We like to give participants the flavor of how much the Native Americans contributed. It was not just Mason and Dixon.
That's great. That's great.
By the way, I'd like to read those articles you mentioned.
I hope to find them. Those are kind of things that go in boxes and they sort of disappear, but I hope to find them.
Okay, thank you.
That's 10:30 a.m. on October 16th.
Correct.
I definitely want to try to make that. Okay. All right, what's on the Mason-Dixon Historical Park Board, what's the wishes of the commission?
If it is acceptable, I would like to move that we form this board as an advisory board for Mason-Dixon Park. Please be advised that the other board members would be Louis Statler and Charles Kraft Jr.
I'll second that motion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Pursuant to that, I would like to move that we appoint Commission President Eldon Cowan to represent the Commission on the Mason-Dixon Park Board.
As an ex officio, correct?
Yes.
Right, only because that's what we did back in
That's
March.
what we- yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Thank you.
Pursuant to that, to move to allow the Mason-Dixon Park Board to appoint a junior advisory board.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
And lastly, regarding this board, that the above-named board would create and present bylaws for review and approval to this county commission.
I second that motion. All in favor say.
Well, I'd like to discuss
I'm
that.
sorry.
I'm adamantly
sorry. I
opposed.
should have asked
Yes,
that.
I'm adamantly opposed to this. Here we go again. We said it's advisory only. I have a strong concern that what's going to happen at each of the boards are going to individually change advisory to management. We've already seen that happen a couple weeks ago with a recommendation called the Camp Muffley Advisory Management Board. I believe it's important at this time, any bylaws has to come from the county commission. They are advisory only, not management. And it's very clear we have to stick to that. If we allow this, then we're going backwards and going back to the problem that we have run into before. All three parks fall under the county commission, not under the individual park board. They're advisory. I would strongly ask that we do not support this.
So your suggestion is for Renetta to write all the bylaws?
No, we already have standing operating procedures that's on the books. They're an advisory. They follow under standard operating procedures. And then they, as an advisory board, make recommendations, and the superintendent is in charge. And we were real clear in March 5th, 2014, of stating to increase the authority and the power to run the parks to the park superintendent, and they only be accountable to the county commissioners. And that is the direction we went in. I'm very concerned we would be going backwards into a problem that we ran into before, and I don't want to see that problem again.
The motion that was made was subject to the commission's approval.
That's all the motion. The motion is for them to draft it, submit it to us. We still gotta approve it. I mean, that's what an advisory board does.
And again, with all due respect,
That's
we
all
already
right,
had a
that's all right.
proposal, and then now that we have to bring it up, some of the recommendations by this one was prepare a budget. It was to authorize and manage expenditures of a fund of a monthly base not to exceed $5,000. These were the concerns, that the park superintendent shall have only the charge of scheduling of the recreational programs and all events and all the responsibility of the board. I don't want to go in that direction. That's why I'm trying to clarify that. So let's start with an advisory board. Let's move forward as we are doing now. And that is what I'm asking.
I understand what you're asking, but the way to ensure what you want to do, which I don't disagree with, is through the composition of bylaws. Would you feel more comfortable if the amendment was changed that the superintendent, working with the bylaws, will prepare a draft of bylaws for the advisory board for final approval by the commission? That should address your issue,
No.
because
Yeah.
this, well, let me finish. You never let me finish.
Sorry.
You already assumed you know what I'm saying, and it's not, 9 times out of 10 you're wrong. The superintendent is our employee. So your concern is that somehow the superintendents are not going to be answerable to us. Well, if the motion was amended to allow the superintendent to work with their advisory board and draft the bylaws, that is the same, he's our employee, they're our employees. So that addresses your concern. Or are you just opposed to any bylaws at all?
I'm philosophically opposed to opening the door that this group will move to a management board by pressure. And I've seen it in the past, we've dealt with it in the past, and I don't want to move in that direction. That's what I'm opposed to. I understand, and then clearly what you're saying is better than the original motion, but that is my concern.
Well, we heard one of the board members say they wanted guidelines. And what I hear you saying is that you don't want guidelines other than what? I don't know. You don't want guidelines.
I know it's unorthodox, but can I say something?
Uh,
Why doesn't
Is
the
there any,
commi-
just a second, Betty, I gotta do it properly. Is there any objection to her speaking at this time?
No.
Betty, please go ahead.
Why doesn't the county commission simply provide bylaws for all the parks? Aren't they supposed to all be run the same?
Yeah.
Well, I don't see why we should have to compose bylaws. That's all.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, can I request to withdraw this second and ask for amendment to include the superintendent as the primary person to make recommendations on these bylaws?
Yes.
You'll allow me to do that?
Yes.
Okay. Would you amend the motion.
Please amend the
Again,
motion.
please.
Yes, please amend the motion to include the superintendent to be the primary person in charge of doing and presenting these along with the advisory board.
Now, second that amendment. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No.
Motion passed. Thank you.
But I think that is a better
Okay,
decision.
yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. Do we have, Camp Muffley Advisory Board members here? Okay, please, state your name and, your residence, please.
My name is Alex Rubenstein. I live in Morgantown, off Route 73.
Amy Blake, I live in Morgantown, off of Grafton Road.
Okay. You have questions?
Just
Mr. Moon?
the same one question, that just as you realize there's some question, and now I think we've resolved it, but at this time, it would just be advisory board. Do you have any problems with that?
No, I understand.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify stuff, and I just want to say that I have both students at 2 different schools.
No, okay. Is that good or bad?
That's good. They're excellent. I mean, they're excellent. That's
Excellent
why
people.
they're excellent choices.
Yeah, and I also let the record reflect that Rachel Mitchell, our superintendent from Camp Muffley, is also present and beaming
Yes, and waiting.
and waiting. And waiting.
That's fine.
Okay.
Would like to add the names of Darrell Fox, Vicki Trickett, Randy Moore, and Dan Cheslock, who could not be here today, and move that these above-named board members, those being present, be approved as the advisory board for Camp Muffley.
I'll second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
I would like to move that I be appointed as the representative from County Commission on the Camp Muffley Board.
I'll second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Move to allow the Camp Muffley Board to appoint a junior board.
Second.
I have a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
And lastly, to move that, working with the superintendent, that this board create and present bylaws for review and approval by this county commission.
I'll second that. We have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No.
Thank you. Motion passed.
Okay.
I would also like to move that Commissioner Tom Bloom be appointed to represent our county commission as representative on the Chestnut Ridge Board when the board is completed.
I'll second that.
Okay. Didn't know you should second. Okay.
That's all right. I'll second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you. Okay.
Chris is here. Okay, just sitting here.
Okay,
Thank you for clarifying it. And thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you. But they need to stay.
Oh, okay.
Don't you think?
Sure. I'm sure.
No, you don't have to. I'm just, we would like you to stay if you can. If you can't, we know there's other obligations. Carissa Collins, Executive Director, American Red Cross of Northeast West Virginia. Please come on up. You can stand and speak, or you can sit and speak, whichever you're more comfortable with.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I do apologize. I thought I was at 10:15, and I see now on the agenda that was different, so I apologize.
That's okay.
That's all right.
If I may,
Yes.
I have some materials for you all. There you go, sir.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So first and foremost, I want to provide an update, as I'm sure everybody is concerned regarding what has happened in the southern part of our state. And as you all know, the American Red Cross has played a pivotal part in the recovery efforts in the southern part of the state, and the Monongalia County area has also played a wonderful, pivotal role in assisting our neighbors to the south. So, to give you a brief update, as the raindrops were falling, the American Red Cross was responding. We were mobilizing volunteers, we were mobilizing staff we were in coordination with county, local, federal, and other officials within the area in order to ensure that the needs of the communities were being met before we truly knew what devastation was about to happen. At the end, after the raindrops were finished falling and as we started to get a picture of what had happened, the American Red Cross was bringing in supplies, food, mobilizing shelters. When all was said and done, we had 13 shelters for 585 people, providing 2,372 overnight stays. We had fixed feeding sites, mobile feeding vehicles going out in the communities, and I was a part of that as well, along with a board member from in North Central West Virginia, and we went down and assisted. And we had bulk distribution sites. We supported emergency operations centers, and we had individual assistance service sites also occurring to provide assistance to those family members and individuals that were affected who had a variety of needs. We provided over 190,000 meals and snacks, over 7,000 cleanup kits, over 2,500 comfort kits, and over 123 miscellaneous bulk items distributed. We opened over 1,800 cases, serving over 4,700 people. We had health and mental health contacts that exceeded over 8,000, and assessment teams from the Red Cross determined that over 2,000 homes were absolutely destroyed. 1,329 homes received major damage, 724 homes received minor damage, and 436 homes were affected. So the American Red Cross goes in, we help providing those immediate needs so that people can begin to recover effectively. That was 3 months ago. The American Red Cross still remains on the ground today. Our individuals from up here are assisting in the efforts. We are doing casework now. We are coordinating with long-term recovery groups, participating in long-term recovery groups across the state in the affected areas as they are formed. And the Coordinated Assistance Network, which the American Red Cross provides, is providing is making sure that there's not duplication of services, so that organizations can participate in this assistance network and know that Mrs. Smith received a bed because she needed a bed, and Mr. Barnes received a refrigerator because he needed a refrigerator, and so now they don't need those items anymore. But we can move on to the items that they need and the assistance that they need. And so we're doing that. We're also hiring individuals to manage that long-term recovery from a Red Cross perspective up to a year. All of that is occurring through the generosity of donors, through the mobilization of volunteers. And we had over 800 volunteers and staff that assisted, many of which were from West Virginia and some proudly from Monongalia County. So we thank the community for their incredible support. Please know that while the video cameras made some beautiful imagery, and there are some powerful, moving photos of the Red Cross, big vehicles, vests on, going in, making a tangible difference, please know that the difference that is occurring now is no less important, but it happens in the privacy of people's homes, and that we continue to be there and will continue to be there for as long as we are needed. I thought it important to begin with that.
Yes.
I would like to move on to talk about some of the things that we're doing locally. So the American Red Cross, the biggest disaster that we respond to are home fires. And we continue to respond to home fires when we are called to respond to home fires. So I say first and foremost, if anybody hears of somebody who has had the horrible misfortune of having a home fire occur, please make sure that they know to call the Red Cross, because we can help, especially with those initial needs and then with their recovery moving forward. But the Red Cross, we do more than just responding when disaster strikes. We are also very active in the prevention and in the community resiliency perspective. So I include in here information about our home fire campaign. We are going into homes, installing smoke alarms free of charge to family members, individuals in the community. So if you know of somebody that does not have smoke alarms, maybe they can't reach their smoke alarms to check whether they're good, please provide them with the flyer or the phone number on the flyer and encourage them to call the Red Cross. We will go in, we will provide education to the family about disaster preparedness. We'll help them create an evacuation plan with their kids, encourage them to make that a part of their daily lives. Disaster, fire, preparedness needs to be a part of daily lives. So we encourage everybody within this county to please take that step and ensure their own personal safety as well as the safety of their neighbors. We are looking for community organizations that wish to partner with us in order to do wonderful days in their own neighborhoods, installing these smoke alarms and making sure that their neighbors are safe. So we are actively seeking organizations and groups of individuals who wish to go in and help us install the smoke alarms for people and provide that education. So we ask that you please
Is there any restrictions on that age or anything that you require?
Minors must be accompanied by a responsible adult.
Responsible.
Responsible adult.
Yes.
They determine that responsibility.
Okay.
And you know, if anybody wishes to volunteer in other capacities, we are looking for additional volunteers that wish to answer the call when we have home fires, when we have large-scale disasters, as well in the area. So we ask that please people distribute the information about the home fire campaign, and if they have it within their hearts to step up and make a difference in their community, that they join us, especially as Fire Prevention Week kicks off here in just a couple weeks.
You've probably already done this, but have you met with individual volunteer fire departments and presented these volunteer efforts?
We are actively working to build relationships with those fire departments for this particular purpose. So we have some that have jumped on board. Mm-hmm. Not everybody has jumped on board, and to varying capacities. Mm-hmm. You know, we need their assistance in more than just...
Oh, yeah. Well, I just on that, and I don't know whether you knew that Commissioner Hawkins is our representative to the volunteer fire departments. So, you know, I'm sure he will also assist you in that.
Yeah, you would be more than welcome to come to the meeting that is all the departments.
Fire Association.
Fire Association with me.
Thank you.
If you'd like.
Thank you.
And I'll let you know of that date.
I appreciate that very much. So we are doing the home fire campaign our goal as a chapter, we are an 18 county chapter, is to install 2,000 smoke alarms between now and June 30th. So it's a very large goal, many of which those smoke alarms will be installed here in Monongalia County. So we look to the community to help us achieve that goal for our neighbors' sake.
Go ahead.
So I would like to also move on to the Pillowcase Project. The Pillowcase Project is a disaster preparedness education program that we conduct for 3rd to 5th graders within the school system and utilizing after-school programs as well. So any community group who wishes to help educate children, we're looking for additional volunteers for that. And most importantly, we're looking for groups, schools, individuals who wish to have us take part. We have some fantastic volunteers through WVU, some students that are being trained as we speak on this. I believe the meeting is happening right now to get trained and go in. What this program is, we learned during Hurricane Katrina, the college students were taking a pillowcase and doing exactly what many of us did for Halloween, and that's stuff as much stuff as we can in a pillowcase and bring our haul back somewhere safe. AKA our living rooms. But in Hurricane Katrina, they were evacuating with everything that they could put into their pillowcase. And so the American Red Cross took notice and said, in partnership with Disney, wow, this is something that really could make a difference in communities across the country. And so we partnered with Disney. Disney has provided the pillowcases, and we have workbooks, and we're going in and educating students about what they need in their go bags, because we encourage every citizen to have a go bag ready to go in the event of a disaster with important items such as a first aid kit, medical documents, copies of ID, a little bit of money, basic necessities that they will need. And And so we educate the children on what goes in that. We educate them on common disasters within their community that they should be aware of. We educate them on how to react, and that includes the psychological and emotional components of disaster and building that resiliency and knowing how to handle stressful situations, which we then help them to translate into daily life, handling stressful situations and that long-term resiliency. So we teach them that, so they learn that. We have them practice that, and then one of the most important parts of this is that we encourage them to go home and share with their families, with their parents, with their loved ones, so that their entire family and the community can be aware of the importance of disaster preparedness, and once again, it becomes a part of daily lives.
Chris and I have been communicating to try and get in 2 schools right now, and the 2 of the 4 from the Pantry Plus program. The phone call, I apologize, that was ringing is from the Mountaineer Food Bank. What I was thinking and what I'd like to work with you is the possibility, we're trying to put the Mountaineer Food Bank has a mobile unit that has not been really worked well in Mon County because we haven't asked it. Both Ridgedale and Mason-Dixon Elementary have agreed to house this mobile food bank. What I was thinking, and I was going to talk with them, is not only could you have a table set up about to be a part of this, but maybe we can make it a day long and have the program at the school. So you'll have the parents there, you'll have the kids there. So that's what I'm going to try and work on in November and December. So that's what I'm trying to work on. And then it makes more sense, as Bob Perner said, about collaboration, doing everything together. But you'll have the parents there, the food truck there, and the kids there, so we could do it all at the one time. So that's what I'm working on for you.
That's awesome. It's a 1-hour presentation.
Yeah.
It's very easy to take on the road as long as we have those 3rd to 5th graders. It's very strict parameters
Yes.
around it, but I would be excited to work with you
I'll get
on
back
that,
to you on
and
that.
I thank you. One other thing I do want to mention, and it's happened very quickly over the past couple of weeks, we're really excited as an organization. We've provided some fantastic service to armed forces. We do things such as emergency communications. We provide assistance during times of stress and need for our service members and their families, whether it's preparing for deployments, returning from deployments, or the everyday stresses and extraordinary stresses that they incur on a regular basis. I wanted to make the commission aware that in Monongalia County, we will be hiring a AmeriCorps member within this week to serve the community primarily up here. That community has been served primarily out of Charleston, and I think it a wonderful benefit that we are getting somebody from the AmeriCorps program here within Monongalia County housed in our office that will be serving the North Central West Virginia community. The ability to do those emergency communications locally, the ability to provide casework locally. They will be trained as veteran service officers so they can help them with filing claims through the VA and meeting with family members, individuals, and then providing workshops and outreach to the military community. And I wanted to make the commission aware of that.
I'm very much aware of American Red Cross's commitment to the military service members. When I was both platoon leader and company commander,
Thank you, sir.
the American Red Cross was one of the speed dial numbers. The phones didn't have speed dial back then. But still, it was one of those numbers taped right there. And I had to, on at least 3 different occasions, where there were issues with a soldier's family, the American Red Cross was essential in helping that person get back home. In one case, before his father passed away, and it was the American Red Cross that we always praised, that was always there to help us out as soldiers. So
I
thank you very much.
I thank you. It's very close to my heart. I was able to get my cousin back in time for my grandfather's funeral, thanks to the American Red Cross's assistance getting him home from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So I do know it provides fantastic service, and I'm very proud. It's been years in the making. I was on the board of directors for many years, and this was a dream of mine to have somebody here in Monongalia County. And with the assistance of our folks down in Charleston, we're making it happen.
Great.
I hope to make an offer by the end of the day today. God willing, knock on wood. Please let this interview go well.
There you go. That's great. We really appreciate that.
So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your willingness to come in and make the report, and we hope to see you back.
thank you. And I do thank you for the Commission's continued support, both financially as well as community backing for everything that the Red Cross does in Monongalia County.
Thank you.
Gentlemen. Thank you, ladies.
Okay, all right. Let's move down to correspondence. North Central Regional EMS letter of appreciation on receipt of the remainder of fiscal year 2016 funding. Read that, please.
Please accept our gratitude for payment of the balance of the fiscal year 15 local assessment to North Central Regional EMS Incorporated. Your kind comments are greatly appreciated and the funds will be spent wisely. As a direct result of your participation, we have provided opportunities that otherwise may not have been possible. Below is a sample of those activities. The coursework required for paramedics to complete their recertification was provided through Pierpont Community and Technical College at no charge to the participants, and nearly 70 paramedics participated. We supported several activities to honor our EMS field personnel from throughout the service area during National EMS Week. The Glennis Q. Cather Memorial Scholarship was awarded by the funding. We appreciate your longstanding support of the emergency medical services system. Respectfully, Glenn Satterfield, President, Board of Directors.
Thank you. Very nice letter. Any other correspondence?
No.
Okay. Moving on to unfinished business. To consider the donation of a log cabin made to Mason-Dixon Historical Park. Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes, I was charged by commission, first of all, to make sure that the Historical Society would, in fact, go ahead and accept from the property owner this particular cabin, and then in return, they made a motion to authorize me, Commission President Callen was present as well, to allow the donation to be made from the Historical Society then to County Commission so that this property could be moved. The other question was that Commissioner Callen, President Callen asked, was that of the property owner. I did meet with the property owner, and she has no problem with anything that we might have to do, even short of removing trees. This property, the only thing that is really of nature to her is these cats, and because of this, the rest of the ground is being sold purely for land. It's a 4-acre tract. So what its consideration is she simply asked and didn't even require that we remove the foundation. If the foundation could be left there, she said, go ahead and leave it there. So pursuant to that, I do have a contract which has been reviewed by Mr. Doyle, which would allow the removal of the log cabin from Grafton Road to the Mason-Dixon site, delivery to a prepared pad site. The pad site has to be prepared by commission, and that would also include disposal of all the debris, which would be the porches and the roof. We have to take the roof off because the cabins, to be moved intact, cannot clear the power lines. So with that, I would like to move that we accept this donation from the Historical Society and allow the Commission President, Mr. Callen, to sign the contract. This would be in the amount with Snyder Excavating of $8,250.
I have a motion, I'll second it for discussion. Commissioner Bloom, do you have any discussion?
Yeah, the company that you have excavated, have they done this before, moved?
Yes.
Okay. The concern was that you were going to get back to us. You had said that it could be up to $40,000 of moving the building, putting it over there, then building, if it's not done where pipes were, that, put in a restroom. As the concern I stated was that this was a building that when I went out there had dry rot. I have real concerns about doing this when we have another option, which would be to build something for about the same price that would be a newer building and that would fit in with the other two buildings. I think we have a concern about not knowing what we're getting into. The Justice Center is a perfect example of what we thought we were going to build, and then, this building, I mean, how old is it? Will it even last and make it through the move. And, you know, the concern is the amount of money that could go there. I'd rather see us put in a new building, and the difference of the funds could be used to fix up the other 2 log cabins and rent them out. I really think that this would not be beneficial. I have some real concerns about liability. I have real concerns about this building meeting the code, and the cost that this is going to take, and also move the people that we are working on now in this building, using Bobby's people to go out there. I just don't think it is a wise decision. I have some real concerns about it, and I'd also like to see what the new superintendent, because we did part of the motion was to see, after we discussed, what his concerns or for positive and negative. Okay.
Any objection to?
Oh, no.
JR, would you, I ask you to review and analyze this situation. Would you please come forward and give us your report, please, and your thoughts?
Not my report, it'd be more my thoughts on this.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine.
As the name of the park, the Mason-Dixon Historical Park, I like the idea of the cabin being moved to the park as bringing more history to the park. That is my focus of being the new park superintendent. I do, however, think a cost analysis needs to be done to figure if we move the cabin, Bobby is not seen inside, if I'm correct, right?
He reviewed it.
He reviewed it, okay. I don't know what the cost will be to make it like Rachel's cabin in Camp Muffley. That cabin is beautiful. It is an asset to that park. If on the end ours will look that way, that is a great asset to have there. I'm just worried that we'll be spending $50,000 of taxpayers' money to get it to that point. I just don't have that research to make that decision. You know, I would prefer a cabin that would match the park, but if it's going to cost us a large amount of money, that concerns me.
To give you a comparison, if you would,
Yes.
the cabin of which you spoke at Muffley had to be completely disassembled rather than moved intact. So that led to a larger expenditure. That's why I put rough cost analysis. Pouring a pad in a concrete, can be roughly figured out very easily. The amount of trusses can be figured out very easily, as well as the roofing material. I feel that a $40,000 approximation would be correct in doing the amount of work that would be necessary to do this.
I think that was my concern. That I've dwelled on this for quite a while now, and I listened to everybody's concerns, and I'm 10 years of management, and where every dime goes. So that's important to me. I don't want to get us into a money pit. And if council or commission thinks that is a wise decision, I support that. I think it would make a good asset. But I, again, do worry about the amount of dollars we'll be spending to make it to the same as the one we have at Camp Muffley.
So, do you think a $40,000 estimate is right, or would you want to spend more time analyzing?
I do not have all the facts that I need at this moment in time to make a decision on if that would be the right call or not. I've made a few phone calls. We're worried about, that the chinking is probably not going to make it. Is that something that Bobby, that your guys' crew will be able to do that? Replace all the chinking in the... Okay. Yeah, those are the concerns that I have.
I hate to delay this again, but I really want your input. My big concern about this, and in concept, it's the only right thing to do. It's preserving a historical building, and well, when you mention the Justice Center, that's another whole area. But we're talking about a real historical building.
Correct.
My second concern is that I really want to get a view, and that's where the advisory board comes in, of where we're going with this park. I'm sorry, but the way the park is setting right now, it's just like, where's the space? Let's drop it here. Oh, where's the space? Let's drop it here. I don't want to do that.
I agree with you.
And I will tell you, I'm very much in favor of preserving history any way we can. But as everyone will tell you, spending money is not something I enjoy doing. I love investing money, I hate spending money. So that's basically what you're saying.
Do you then,
Pardon?
do you then see that as an investment then?
I would see that as an investment if you told me that you had done what you want to do and feel that it is the proper thing to do.
I feel like that I would like to have all the concerns addressed. If, please understand that I'm not even an employee at this point. If there are concerns, Mr. Bloom has raised concerns of dry rot. I do not have the expertise to say if that 200-year-old building is seeing normal weathering, or if it is dry rot. If it is dry rot, what are our options to replace that? You know, can that bottom row just be removed? You know, which I've been told that is a possibility, that bottom row can be removed, then it's not an issue. We just go from that point up. You know, these are the concerns that I would like to know before we go into that.
Well, this is why I had Bobby Doyle inspect the building.
Yeah, and I just,
Yeah,
I don't
we do
have that
four
information
sections,
to give my opinion. If I had his information.
They're in my opinion, Let me at least say that my only job outside of doing dentistry for 40 years was construction. I worked from the age of 10 until the Friday before the Monday I started at Morgantown Dental Group. So I inspected it first before I actually looked and brought Mr. Doyle up to look at this. The amount of dry rot that is present is not dry rot. Okay, is there weathering? Yes, there is, and I will go ahead and put my professional reputation on that as to what I did before I became a dentist. I've looked at I have a dry rotted set of logs that unfortunately, was delivered. Hopefully to, I was hoping to have a log cabin, and when I looked at it, it was very unfortunate. The guy had actually stacked all the logs together rather than placing them so that they could be kept dry, even though he had covered them. All the condensation caused the problem. So this particular area, I will at least offer a little bit of expertise between Mr. Doyle and myself.
I'd say
And you saw it as well.
Yes, I saw it as well, and thank you for taking me over there to look at it with you. If it can be cost effectively done to look like the cabin at Camp Muffley, that is my opinion on the subject, I would say.
Could I ask one more question, Mr.
Yes, sir.
And not to you, it's to what line item are we going to take this money out of? If it's going to cost $40,000, I'd like to know where the money's coming from. That's to the maker.
No, that's a legitimate question.
Yeah, to the maker of the motion.
Do you have a line item that you've thought about on this?
I have not. I mean, there is, money and funding, of course, available for the parks, yes.
Right.
And obviously, this is something that I was going to put it, came up. It's an opportunity, I feel, for investment, not only in the historical aspect, but to do the same thing. I think Rachel, since she's here, can attest to the fact of having the difference between a area where you are working with your residents being the place where people had to come and having a separate office. I think it is a much more comforting thing to have the office, which was established at Camp Muffley and had the same problem. In other words, people who came to Camp Muffley before that office was established had to go to the caretakers or the superintendent's residence to talk to them. And that's not really the thing, and this is a situation I think that we need to remedy at the last park, because all the other two parks do have an office. So.
And one more statement.
Yes, sir.
And just for clarification, we could build something that would be red and would look like this for $8,000, and the difference of the funds we could use to fix up the other two log cabins and rent them out. And I think that would be a better, more efficient use of our funds. And that's my question. Thank you.
Well, that doesn't include the pouring of the pads or the finishing of the inside. You see, you're looking at a shell. And I know what a milta building is going to look like in 20 years. I have one. They're not that pretty. I know what a log cabin will look like in the next 20 years. It will look like the log cabin that you placed there, because the one that's closest to the office at Camp Muffley was built in 1812.
And with all due respect, I totally disagree with you.
I understand that. That's okay.
With leave of the commission, I would like to ask my board at Mason-Dixon Park something. Any objection to that?
No.
No, go right ahead.
And JR as well. Could we have our first advisory board meeting tomorrow evening at 6:30? Could we have our first advisory board meeting tomorrow evening at 6:30 at the park? Yeah. Okay. Then our meeting will be at 6. Yes, Bobby, did you have something you need to add?
Yeah, you gotta have some questions answered, because what is your time frame on this? Number one. Number two is, where are you gonna put it out there? Do we have adequate septic, or we've got to put a whole septic in? I mean, either one. Either one of the two, I just need to know, because these are questions that.
Are you available?
I'm not sure.
I ask you for these things.
I'm not sure about that. Then the third question is next week's October. So I got guys coming on hunting season vacation, and I mean, we got to worry about winter time. So the time frame on this is also a factor. So
It is, because the property's for sale.
that's what I mean. So if we need to move on this, we can't keep putting it off for 2 weeks and 2 weeks, because we got to get out there and do something, okay? It's hard to do something in the wintertime, guys.
Well, I understand you can go out and take off the roof, but I'm not comfortable with just quick reaction. I'm gonna drop it here, and this is where we're gonna put it. I'm just not comfortable with that. And, if you're not available, would one of your people be available tomorrow evening, Bobby? Because those are, that all fits into the discussion. Because it comes back to what you and I were talking about, JR. Is it an investment, or is it an expenditure that won't return on the dollar spent? That's why I was pushing to get this board done. You're available? Is there space to meet out there?
Oh, yeah.
Would you like the motion table for?
Well, that was the next thing I was gonna ask, if you'd be willing to make a motion to table.
I will move to table this until next week.
I'll second that.
The only problem's gonna be, unfortunately, and I'm not gonna be here next week, so there's nothing I can say, but, my opinion, so.
Yeah, you can, you can.
I'll be on a plane back.
Well, okay, so you can't get on the phone?
No.
I will do this because like I say, I always protect my daughters. If there are things or points you want me to bring out, please just give them to me, and I will read them to
Thank you. I'll do that. That's fair.
Okay. Okay, I have a motion and a second to table. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. We'll have our first advisory board meeting tomorrow at 6:30 at the park. And that, obviously, this is going to be the primary area of discussion, is A, do we want it? B, if we want it, where we're going to put it? And then the other things you addressed here. Okay, is that acceptable to everybody?
Yeah, and would you make sure that they all have a copy of that contract, so they know what?
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be available to them.
Make sure that JR and everyone gets a copy of that for the meeting tomorrow night.
Yes.
I really appreciate your willingness to serve. I really do.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, I moved B up to the others because I
Right.
thought that was the appropriate place to put it. New business, to consider appointing an audit committee to procure and conduct the fiscal year 2016 audit.
Received correspondence from the state auditor, Lisa Hopkins. This is from Stuart Stickle. He's the deputy state auditor and chief inspector division. You all approved a few weeks back for us to put the audit out to bid for fiscal year 16. We are right now on the audit list that they have circulated to CPA firms. We have had a couple of inquiries already, so you all would just need to proceed with selecting an audit committee.
Do you have recommendations that you drafted already, or did you call them?
I mean, we just did this not too long ago, so
Okay.
I would say the people
Same
that were
committee.
already appointed,
And those are?
I believe Ms. Blaney, Commissioner Hawkins, Ron Snyder, I think we're the three.
Yes.
I also move that they be appointed again.
Reappoint them?
Of course you would.
That's right.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. I
Yep.
wasn't taking any discussion on
Yeah,
that.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I will
Yeah.
make copies of this and the copies of the emails and correspondence that we have from the CPA firms regarding the audit to the audit committee. And they can move forward with the RFP.
Okay. Any further new business? Reports from elected official.
Wait a minute, I have one more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Apologies.
Last week, I think we discussed the Board of Assessment Appeals for October
Okay.
and came up with some dates. October the 11th. It's a
That's right.
Monday. It's a Monday.
At 9:30?
9:30.
Is that a definite?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
9:30, and then a break for lunch, and then resume
Yes.
at 1:30 to 4 o'clock.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Tuesday, October the 17th, same hours.
Okay.
And then Thursday, October the 20th at 10:30.
Tuesday,
10.
October 17th. October 17th is
Monday.
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 Oh, I'm sorry. I
Monday.
just have the wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
And that's the same hours?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and then
And then
10:30 on the 20th?
Thursday on the 20th.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay,
10:30 to noon, 1:30 to 4.
gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Do you need a motion to
Do we
approve
have
that?
that? Yeah, we need
Okay.
to.
Move to approve those three stated dates by Renetta.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Thank you. Anything? Okay, no further. Okay, reports from elected official. Madam Clerk, do you have anything to report, sir? Ma'am? Oh, boy, I'm
Sure.
batting. Gotta watch my calling Pete Fred. I'll try not to call you that again, Fred. I did that with, it's still a joke between Chuck Penn and I. He calls me all kind of other things. Sheriff, do you have anything for us tonight, or today?
I do. I got passed up, but I'm not offended. On a personnel issue,
Oh,
Yeah.
Pam said you didn't have any.
yeah, it was on the agenda.
I know.
It was on the
Not
agenda.
presenting,
Oh, okay.
but what we talked about, or what the chief talked about last Wednesday.
Oh, that's, okay. Sorry.
Well, you weren't here.
I was here.
Where were you?
My fault.
Yes. Oh, now I
Netta said she's
okay.
taking responsibility.
I
Thank you.
apologize, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she told me you weren't here.
Right. Well, actually, it's new hires, right?
Yeah.
That's what, okay.
I didn't make myself as good of a note as I should.
Okay.
Oh, okay. This is not under introduction.
No,
No,
No.
it's,
I wondered what happened to that.
well, it says, personnel changes.
Okay,
Right.
well, yeah. Right,
It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
it's
she,
okay.
she told me you didn't wanna talk to us.
I always love talking to you. I will be very quick, unless you all have any questions. We are in, and I know Chief Palmer brought up last week, the work session, the problems that we're facing right now. We have 3 deputies that are going to be out of service for an extended period of time. One of them has been activated to the military. He's been gone since July 16th. We have another one who is one of our detectives that looks like his activation is going to be either the end of this year or in January sometime of next year. His activation is telling us it could be up to 16 months. We have another deputy off, unfortunately, that's being treated for a serious medical condition. He's been off for about a month and a half now. We have no idea when he's expected to come back or if he actually will. We have another one that is having major surgery on Friday of this week, and we've been told by his physician that he will be off for a minimum of 6 months. So what we're here for today is to ask the commission to approve the hire of at least 1 or 2 new deputies. We are in dire straits, and when I say that, I say that we are in dire straits. I think all of you know that I have never come before the commission and asked for anything frivolous. Whatever we've needed and I've come and asked for is something that we need, and this is something that we absolutely need. Last year, just to give you an idea, we handled nearly 35,000 calls for the service, just in the sheriff's office alone. And that's a lot of calls. And you know what our personnel requirements are now with having specialized units, our detective units, canines, sniper and SWAT teams. We have a lot of specialized entities within our department that obviously take personnel. But our biggest concern right now is we need road deputies to handle these calls for service. Our guys, with the exception of the detectives, play 2 or 3 or 4 different roles because the same people that are handling calls on the road are those SWAT team members. They're the accident reconstructionists. They're the K-9 unit operators and things. So they have, their responsibilities are 2 and 3-fold. So that's why we're coming to the commission right now. We're not asking for any additional funding at this point. We have the money because of some of the people that have been off already. And if we need to, we do have some money in some other line items within the law enforcement budget that we could move to help this process. So we're not asking for additional funding at this point, just the understanding that we do need these 2 people now, and for the commission to agree for us to go ahead and make those hires.
We had the briefing from your chief deputy, Perry Palmer, last week. And it's interesting, it just brings to mind, as you were talking about the budget and the funding and all, how few people really understand the complexity of governmental budgeting. They think it's the same as a home budget, and they don't know what they're talking about at all. But there's a lot of complexities. Well, you have 6, 7 budgets you work with to bring to us.
6 budgets.
Yeah, and that was one thing that he covered last week about the budget, and it's only the right thing to do, I believe. What's the wishes of the commission?
Move up to, that we authorize up to 2 people.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sheriff, and I will re-emphasize, you have never come before us about any frivolous thing. You've always worked very good for us and the taxpayers, so I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, do we have any other elected officials here? I'm sorry I missed the sheriff. I didn't know he was here, or I would have asked for you, but that won't be the first time that I make a mistake.
Association of Counties Conference.
Yes.
Next Sunday. It starts next Sunday at Canaan Valley.
That's right. Thank you. I forgot to put that on my list. West Virginia Association Board Meeting and Legislative Conference.
October 2nd through the 4th.
October 2nd and through the 4th, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Certainly. Oh, we got to Charleston next week too.
Excuse me?
No, that's the Commissioners Association.
Oh, I'm sorry. Different group.
Well, I can go to that too if you want.
If you're gonna drive.
I like the commissioners.
Thank you, Sheriff.
I guess we're an anomaly. Unlike some of the other counties, we actually get along.
That's right. That's true.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, any other elected officials? Bobby, do you have something for us today?
Yeah, since you're talking about the Justice Center,
Come on forward.
maybe we'll bring up the last payment that's due to the contractor.
Okay.
They submitted it in February, but we had some problems. And they had signed off on it with sealing in March, you can see down there. So they finished up everything, and it's $31,775 what we owe to the contractor. So that'll be the final payment.
Are you satisfied?
Yeah, they had to fix the filters in some of the units.
So you need me to sign 3 places?
Yes, sir.
Any of you want to review these?
No.
No.
We can move to make the final payment.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
They haven't charged us no interest, so.
That's good.
I want to commend you, Mr. Doyle. You do an exceptional job of watching out for the taxpayers. And you have helped, not only this commission, but you've helped me from day one. Since I've been here, you and your people, you have embraced the adoption of a construction crew that have saved the taxpayer millions of dollars. And it's through your leadership and the commitment of your men that makes that possible, men and women, excuse me, men and women that you have. I just want to take this opportunity to commend you on the work you've done, not only on this, but on every project that's in front of you.
Thank you.
Anything?
Nope.
Okay. No further elected officials. Report from county commissioners. Commissioner Bloom.
No, you can write it down, mark it. I have no report.
No report.
No report.
Okay, Commissioner Hopkins.
Last Wednesday, I would like to report that Commissioner President Callen and I did welcome Southern Airlines to provide the service. That's at Hart Field. Also like to commend Glenn Kelly and the city of Morgantown on what we hope will be a really good partnership to get flights to not only Pittsburgh, but to Dallas and Washington, D.C. This week coming up is National 4-H Week. If you don't know about it, I would like to invite you to join us at the barn at Milan Park to celebrate its beginning. That's at 6:30 at the barn at Milan Park for a 4-H council circle. Lastly, last Thursday, Commission President Callen presided over a community meeting. This is concerning the heroin epidemic. We as a community, all of us need to invest our time, our resources, and to stem this tide. It will require somebody to take the bit into their mouth, some group. It may be perhaps even this commission. And it is going to be something that will not be always popular. It is something that will require leadership. It may even require force to make sure that all of us join together in an effort to keep our youth safe. Right now, and I made the comment, the only thing that I think is safe right now are your grade schools. And we've got to pull together and something, somehow, some way, because the participation in this meeting was not what I expected. I expected better of what we have in Monongalia County.
Thank you. I've been working with Granville Police Department asked me to be part of the leadership team on this forum. This is an ongoing effort. I'll be meeting with the small group next week to plan our next meeting. A lot of people, a lot of groups were invited. The representation, I think, and Bucky Forbes, Lieutenant Forbes, and I will be going around to these different groups personally to explain why their participation is so essential. We decided to do that. If the groups don't pull together on this, and I know the perception may be, well, this is just another meeting, where you had to be there. This was a real working meeting, and I think it was actively embraced by everyone that we can solve this problem if we work together. But it's not the kind of thing you just show up and say, oh, we're going to do this now. It's an ongoing adaptive challenge that the people that were there are all committed to continue that effort. So we need to continue that, and I appreciate the Commissioner's support on that. I also want to there's Senior Monongalians Expo tomorrow from 9 to 12. Maybe we can get some promotion on that if they haven't already. It's inside the Mountaineer Mall. They'll have flu shots, door prizes, entertainment. That's today. I thought that was tomorrow. It's going on tomorrow. It's going on today. I just got the notice on Friday.
Get there now.
So,
Yeah, go now.
Go now. You know. Okay. When we during the breakout session during our conference, I and Barry Powley had a conference call with Congressman McKinley's office. The Water Resources Act is being considered by the Congress. As you all know, this commission and by delegation of the other two commissioners, I've worked very closely with UMRA on the locks and dams. One of the issues that's been going on has been the exclusion of recreation or other factors in determining the opening of the locks and dams. And not only am I working on commerce, but we're working very hard in addition to the contributed funds to try to get opening to the Hildebrand and Opakiska locks that are closed. Except when we pay to keep them open. As a result of the conference call, both Senator Capito and Congressman McKinley added to the Water Resources WRRDA Act this statement. In carrying out any disposition study for a project of the Corps of Engineers, including a study under Section 216 of the Florida Flood Control Act of 1970, the Secretary shall consider the extent to which the property has economic or recreational significance or impacts at the national, state, or local level. This will go a long, long way to my annual meetings with the Corps of Engineers to get our locks reopened and to keep Morgantown open as well. So I want to thank Senator Capito and Congressman McKinley for adding that language to this bill, and hopefully it's passed. It's again a sample of working together and cooperation that really makes us an extremely progressive county. I want to also note the airport opening, the Southern Airways arrival in Morgantown. I was honored by Mayor Schamberger to stand by her during the ribbon cutting. I said, well, it's a city thing. She asked me, she says, please stand by me. She says, you're doing a lot on the airport, and we need to stand together as a community. So that's a very, very strong plus, and I really appreciated that. In addition to that, hope I get his name right, Michael Sassarti. He's one of the officers for the Southern Airways. Frank Vitale and some other members of the chamber and Glenn Kelly had talked about the number of things that this commission has done in focused on economic development and growing and making our community a better community. He, Mr. Cesarti, if I'm pronouncing it right. Actually, C-E-S-A-R-T-I. He talked to me for a long time. He made a very, very good point, and wants to be part of because I explained our collaboration and cooperation efforts. And he asked that Southern Airways be a key part of that, our plans and our operations, and that in addition to participating on everything from our local forums and that he would help arrange flights that we need to go to bring in economic development, and or bringing in crews flying investors in. And you know, one of the things that I wanted to start this year, but there were a lot of things on our plates this year, but is that international investors conference or forum that's put on in June. It's like this year's was like the third one. Next year will be the fourth International Investors Forum put on by the National Association of Counties, where counties can go and actually present to, and I was told we had about 2,500 international investors, people that are brought into Washington, D.C. to look at projects that they might want to invest in the United States. And it's at a county level, it's the presentation. That's why I really want to try to do that. And I mentioned that to him, and he said that he would happily be a partner with us in getting a presentation down there. So I mention all this because our newest Southern Airways, our newest business into this county, has embraced our county and is going to be an active partner in the future of Monongalia County. So I wanted to report that. I believe I covered that. Okay, that's covered. The only other thing I was going to talk about our board meeting, but I've already said that. Okay, any other issues we need to deal with?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
A motion and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Adjourn.
We
Thank
have
you.
Park.